Welcome, everybody. This is Tim with Wholesaling PPC. I'm super excited to have Andrew Lucas from Columbia, South Carolina here. So welcome, Andrew. Appreciate you hopping on the call with us today.
Thanks, Tim. It's good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. So let's just dive in. Let's get going. I want to as well, and I want our viewers to kind of learn more about you and your business, not just the PPC side of things, but just in
Sure.
general. I know you're doing really well. So you want to just kind of tell us a little bit of background, about your business, who you are, why you got into real estate, all that kind of jazz.
Oh yeah, well that's a long backstory. So I'll tell you, we've been doing real estate for about 13 years. Started right out of college, kind of got the bug, not really a bug. It was more of a, I was tired of paying rent kind of feeling, and ended up buying a house. And this was 2007.
Hmm.
As you may recall, they would give anybody a house, and so I was fresh out of college. I had a job, but not a really high paying job. And I got a house with no money down, and they actually gave me. I got a check when I left the closing table, so it was like super easy to get a house. I couldn't believe it. It was easier than anything I'd ever bought. So that house had a roommate, helped paying the mortgage, that kind of deal. And I ended up moving out of that house sooner than I thought. So it was a rental, full-time rental within a year. After that, picked another rental up, and it was really kind of my retirement plan. I thought I would stay managing hotels, which is what my old day job was. Thought I would do that forever. I went to college for it, went to grad school for it, and that lasted. And then the family started. So got married, kid. Reynolds was born in 2013, and then 2014 our daughter was born, and then 2016 our youngest son. So all of that kind of changes and refocuses and put my mind in a different place. So real estate became not for retirement, but for today. It became cash flow. How are we going to pay our bills now? How are we going to live the life we want to now? And my wife and I kind of set out a plan, set out some goals, got our rental portfolio to where it would allow us to quit our day job. And then we were flipping houses as well. Through these 13 years, we just started learning how to do more and more. We went from 4 houses to 50, right now, like 55 houses within the time that Reynolds, our youngest, was born until now. So we said, this is going to be our deal. We're going to really do real estate for today, not for retirement. And that's what we did. We just went all in. And the PPC side, what we're talking about, is for our wholesale business, which is what I do. I run that as my new day job. So I quit the old day job. Wholesaling houses is much more flexible. It's my job. It's my career, and I can work when I want, and not work if I don't want. So that's kind of condensed, but that's how it all wraps up to a lot of real estate experience in the last 13 years, and now we really focus on. You can see behind me, REI Live. We have a networking and education group where we bring people together to teach other people how to do what we've done, but faster and without all the mistakes. So
Yeah.
And you're part of that with the PPC. So we're learning a lot of cool stuff with that too.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. That's really inspiring, and I want to dive into that a little bit. So what was it that made you want to dive in and do this kind of full time, whether it be flipping or rentals versus, sticking with your management job? Because I'm sure you could have stuck with it and,
Mm-hmm.
been able to provide for your family as well. So what made you kind of take the leap into the risk of running your own business here?
Yeah. Well, you got to have a little bit of that. You can't be too risk adverse. You got to have a little bit of risk nature. But there's the book was, and I used to have it right there, but Gary Keller's Hold. It's the yellow book, and it teaches about real estate investing for rental properties and how that actually creates cash flow, and you can create a business around it. That changed my whole brain from this is a retirement deal. I just thought it was retirement. I just thought this is what people did because
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe just seeing all the landlords were just old guys, old guys coming picking up checks around campus. That was the vision I had. I didn't know. YouTube wasn't as proliferated as it is now,
Yeah.
but so that book put me into a mindset of this is a business. Wow, this is something I could create. In actually my back then, I was thinking I was actually trying to find ways of creating a business. I did want to be an entrepreneur, but I thought it would be in hospitality. So I was looking at ways of like quick service restaurants,
Yeah.
franchise opportunities. Hotels was kind of like my ultimate goal, but I knew I would start smaller. And then rental properties and flipping. So I kind of had the entrepreneurial kind of thought and business that I wanted. And that book really said, wait a second, I'm already in it. I'm just barely have my toe in it. It's time to
Yeah.
get going.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And what do you think is the main? Well, let me ask you this: how do you think your life has changed, and how is it different than it would have been if you were working at that full time job? Like just from the lifestyle aspect of it all.
Yeah. And right now we're in the middle of coronavirus quarantine, so
Yeah,
this is I, we tried to put it into words of how much different this is than what it would have been. Um, then I cannot fathom having to, if I had to work outside of the home in a hotel, my wife working outside of the home, and then trying to bring it in here, and all of our kids are at home. Uh, it would have been so impossible. I, I don't know how everyone else is doing it. It's just so difficult to do it when we run the business. We own the business. So
yeah,
that outside of coronavirus, before the coronavirus, it's helped our family um, immensely become a better form of ourselves. Our families that we're able to connect better. Um, we were able to be together more. We've taken vacations more, where I can just take my laptop and do a little bit of work if I want, or none if I don't want to. Uh, and I'm not attached to someone else's agenda.
yeah,
And whatever job you have, you're attached to that other agenda, that other person, whoever it's your boss or your owner, whatever, their plans, their goals, their time frame for your time. So that has been just so freeing. Take that weight off my shoulders. That's been amazing. And then the lifestyle of um, somebody said it the other day is profits over salary,
mm,
any day. So profits, you get to keep the profit for yourself. It allows you to do so much more. So
you hit the nail on the head. I think a lot of us who are in this business can 100% relate and are driven by the same thing. And that's why I try to push so hard with all my content that I make is whether it's PPC or direct mail or other types of marketing, it's not, the end of the day is not about just like making the money. It's about what wholesaling and real estate can give you in your life. Like
yeah.
I wholesale and I've been doing it like 4 years, and for me, it just allowed me exactly what you said to work when I want. Um, I can take vacations, I can work 30 hours a week or 50, it's up to me. And it really is that freedom that it gives you right at the end of the day. There's definitely some like stress, of course, with the business, but freedom is what it's all about. And those are the people that, our business wants to work with, is people just like you who want that same, freedom and lifestyle, especially, you have a family as well, you want to spend more time with. So I think that's amazing, man.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
So I want to touch on the coronavirus a little bit. Like you said, right now it's the middle of May, so some places are starting to reopen. Most probably not yet. And it's ironic, actually, that right now having your own business has been more job security than
Yeah.
actually working for someone else.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of ironic. It kind of reveals the illusion of job security when you're working for someone else. It's not really that secure.
Yeah.
But I want to touch on kind of what you have seen, just maybe anecdotally in your market. How have, if anything, has changed in your business, whether on the seller or buyer side or marketing? Have you noticed anything that has changed, and if so, what have you done to address it?
Yeah. There's changes. Things are different. Uh, but hard to say whether it's good, bad, or the same. We actually saw on our MLS last month, it was like a 30% drop of inventory of
Hmm.
houses for sale. And now I'm kind of talking flipping business here, but uh, with that much inventory drops, the supply, I mean, the demand didn't drop that much. There's still people wanting to move and able to move. So that supply and demand kind of going down at the same time doesn't affect the sales price, doesn't affect how long your house stays on the market. So it kind of had a negating effect. So everything's cool. Um, it's just different. You don't do open houses, you do virtual ones.
Right.
So you do a Zoom call to show your house. Wholesaling side, our phones are blowing up from same amount of mail. The phones are just going crazy. A lot of people are asking questions. They're not quite ready to make that change and make the move because there is a lot of just vague uncertainty in the marketplace in everybody's
Absolutely.
mind. So maybe sale or buy cycle is going to take a little longer. Instead of closing in 30 days from contact, it might take 90 days. But we're actually seeing more people that were sitting on the sidelines that were getting our mail or seeing our ads or whatever that were saying, now's not the time. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Those procrastinators that are finally like, no, we don't know what later is. I
Yeah.
actually was talking to a guy yesterday who has a quadplex that I really want to get. I really want to buy it. And he literally called, he said, because his wife looked at him and said, what am I going to do with this quadplex if you die? And he's not sick. He's not that old. He has, doesn't have coronavirus, but it's triggering people to think, I don't need this house anymore. I don't need this quadplex. This vacant home has been sitting here for 10 years. I don't want it anymore. Let's do something. So that's been interesting for me to just see and be on the receiving end of those phone calls. Um, so we'll see how that pans out. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
If, I mean, we have not gone down to where we're bankrupt, So the business is still functioning. We're still closing deals. Our actual local courthouse is closed, so we can't close deals if the last purchase or transaction of that house was so old that the documents aren't online. That's our biggest hurdle right
Issue.
now. We have two held up for that, but other than that, it's going along, and we got a lot of people calling us, calling in. So
Yeah, it's interesting. People are debating about whether this is good or bad for the wholesaling market, right? Because
yeah,
it could lead to more distress, which leads to more leads. But at the same time, if people can't move, then they're not going to sell. So you could argue both ways. Are you going on appointments right now? Are you doing everything virtually? Are you just wearing masks, or is it not a huge deal or a big concern where you are?
yeah. I'm still going on appointments if they'll allow it. We're also venturing into more of the virtual, like send us some pictures kind of deal.
Yeah.
So we're going with what the customer, the client wants, and I just practice 6 feet rule.
Right.
Stay 6 feet away. We don't shake hands. There's no hugging, and I have a mask. I'm not a good patron of wearing masks. I'm that guy that will probably get shamed for not wearing a mask.
That's
But
okay.
I have one, I do what makes the seller comfortable. If they're in there with no mask, I'm not going to wear a mask,
Yeah.
and that goes down to sales 101 mirroring. So that's
Gotcha.
probably
Gotcha.
yeah,
Common sense policy there.
yeah.
100% for it. Understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like that your business is still going well. There hasn't been too many crazy, changes, and you've actually gotten arguably more leads coming in, recently, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't done any math on it for
Yeah.
April. I probably should just to see what happened in April compared to um, the months before with the same amount of mail. But we'll see.
Yeah. And what you're saying mimics exactly the data that we've seen. And we're going to send our monthly report out to you, and we're going to include, I actually just wrote a blog post all about the state of PPC during this whole shutdown, and the data that we found across all of our clients is that people are still searching for us they're still clicking on our ad a little bit less, but they're less likely to fill out the form, which is really in line with what you're saying. They're asking more questions, but they're not ready to pull the trigger because they don't know if they can sell. Maybe they can't yet. Like maybe the courthouse is closed, or they're uncertain. So it seems to be that people are still interested in selling, but like you said, they're not ready to pull the trigger yet. So for me, that means you should keep marketing. You should keep doing it because they will convert, and it's just going to take longer. And that's like what the data has shown that we've seen. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you've seen it on your end too.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So for your business, right? You obviously don't do just pay per click with your business. Can you kind of go into? So you've been working with it since January. Obviously, you've been doing this long before then. Can you talk about what marketing you have been doing? Maybe what your main source of marketing is?
Sure. So uh, postcards, hands down, through Tom Kroll and the Rhinos, the Rhino Tribe. We
Yep.
started way back then with that, and has proven to work. We have a really good website, which of course you're a part of, driving traffic to that. But our website's high performing, has some really good SEO on there. We were already, before doing any paid ads. I mean, our website was 1, 2, 3 in the market for our keywords. So those have been our biggest, and then networking. Uh, I, you know, Facebook's amazing for all the things that it is, but for anybody that wants to sell something or buy something, Facebook is there for you. So tell all your friends, network, network, network. Let them know that you're buying houses. Those are the best leads,
Yeah.
the easiest to convert. When somebody says, "Hey, my uncle needs to sell his house. It's a piece of junk. Please help him." Yeah, it closes every time. So that was kind of our main thing. And PPC has always been, when we were gearing up, when I was gearing up to quit my job and to do wholesaling full time. I know I was on vacation, so it was middle of July, and I was planning to leave that job in October. I had the conversation with the SEO company. So we had the website going or whatever, but it wasn't optimized. So we signed the contract while I was at the beach for that, knowing that I would be dropping mail the week before I quit my job. So we were kind
Wow.
of laying that foundation. We wanted a really good website so that SEO was going, and the whole plan was do SEO for 6 months or 8 months. I can't remember what the contract was, but they worked on that for a while, and then our plan and goal was to then go into PPC. Add PPC to our marketing. We never did it that next year because postcards killed it.
Yeah.
We literally did my first wholesale deal straight, like, from as a wholesaler, not as a flipper or whatever. When I quit my job, that next week I signed a deal, my very first one, for my
That's
first
awesome.
batch of postcards.
That's comforting.
Yeah, right. It just goes to show we had a lack in our market for postcards and wholesalers. There's the void.
Yeah.
That void is not there anymore. So we went through all of last year, 2019, without any PPC. So, and the SEO contract was done. They had done what they needed to do. We just kind of tweak it as we go, and we just did postcards. So then we started PPC in January.
So how many deals did you do last year? And what is your like business scope? Are you a one man show? I mean, do you have people that work for you and handle the calls? Can you kind of talk about that structure?
Yeah, so we've got, it's me and my wife. We own kind of the business, so we're both kind of working it. She doesn't do anything with wholesaling, other than uh, coordinate some policies and procedures. She's that detail oriented person. She puts everything together for us in a box, and so she handles that. But we have two. We have Meredith and Kelly that work in our office virtually. They're not here, but they both used to work for me at the hotel. Um,
That's awesome. You
they
brought them with
they
you to your own business, huh? People
Yeah,
who
well,
used to work with.
I didn't steal them. They came, they said, hey, do you have anything? And so we did,
Love
after a
that.
while. But they're great, and customer service number one. And Meredith is our lead intake. So she takes all the phone calls that come in, um, vets them, see if they're motivated, qualifies them, and then puts them on my calendar for to go visit or whatever it is, call them, however that works. And then I do acquisition. And then Kelly is kind of our back end. So once we get a contract signed, she takes over. So she's dealing with the attorneys, the buyers, the sellers, any
All the files.
utility, all of that jazz. So
Gotcha.
she handles all that. And yeah, so that's kind of how we look. That's our group, and we're looking to add. I'm trying to get out of acquisitions. We haven't had a focus on that like we should, but we're trying to hire that person.
That's a great segue. I was going to ask you, what is the vision? Like, would you want to, I know a lot of, investors, they want to build like an empire. For me personally, I'm okay with like a small business that doesn't have too much overhead. It's not super stressful. I don't think either one is bad or good, but what's your vision for your business? Is it to build a giant, operation, or just to give you that lifestyle?
Yeah, it's lifestyle kind of the end for us. The wholesale business, really, if I get an acquisitions manager in or specialist, acquisitions person, if they can do my quantity, I'm good. If I need to get 2 or 3 to get the same closing percentage, same numbers, that's really where we want to be. Uh, and who knows, we might just sell this entity. Our
Yeah.
our main goal really is the rental portfolio, to have passive income that will last for generations. That's really our goal. The wholesaling and the flipping get us to that, and it's fun to do flips. It's fun to feel like we're HGTV, but
Yeah.
uh, that it's really is for a passive income stream business that will continue that way.
So do you know how many deals you did last year in total, with your postcards, or roughly?
Yeah, and so I counted this up for another podcast and I forgot what it was, but the because we wholesale some to ourselves to flip,
Yeah.
like we bring them in on the wholesale side and then we flip them or we
Not as
keep
clear
them
cut.
rental. So they get kind of convoluted there, but it was about 45, I think is what the number was. So
That's amazing. That's
yeah,
amazing. I love it. I
and
love
some
that
of them
having
we kept.
clients. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say some of them we kept, or some of them we flipped, and then some of them we wholesale. So
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. Keep the best ones for yourself, right?
that's right. Like
Awesome.
that
Awesome.
quadplex, I'm keeping that.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. And I was just saying that I love clients who are doing more. Honestly, most of our clients are doing more volume than we're doing. I like focusing on kind of the agency stuff of it now, and bringing leads for other people. But that's awesome. I mean, 40 deals, that's life changing. So I'm super excited for you. I want to dive into a little bit about kind of pay per click. I think we covered probably most of the stuff already, but we can kind of end it with some pay per click stuff. So I know you mentioned Tom's group before. We do pay per click for a lot of people in the tribe. Can
Mhm.
you just talk about how you ended up working with us? Maybe how you heard about us? Did you talk to other agencies? How did you go about doing that? And why now? Really, why January when you signed up with us?
Yeah, so the reason was, like I said again, the whole plan all along was to get PPC into our
Right.
marketing fold. I'm like I said, I managed hotels. PPC. I was trained on a lot of PPC things. We did monthly calls with our um, website providers, and fun thing was is that we were part of when everything was going like the 2.0 websites and stuff, where everything was changing over, and the keywords were very important, and the link back, like, so all that I got to kind of be a part of that and see the profit from that and how it works.
Yeah.
So I knew that I needed that in my business at some point, and so we were going to do it last year, but frankly, we just didn't
Didn't
need
need
it
it.
or didn't
Yeah.
feel like we needed it, and it we were busy, so I was busy running around doing this business. We didn't have the other 2 employees last January, so so that's why we started in January. And the reason we went with you guys really is we vetted a few, we talked to a few people, the people that did our SEO, of course, we talked to them, and I mean, I want to say, of course, Tom, Tom's recommendation and the fact that you were doing his or working with him in the tribe, that carried a lot of weight too. But so did the other ones because they work with other people too. So that
Right.
was kind of taking recommendations, taking referrals, and trying to find the best fit for us. So we landed with you. I liked you. I like what we talked about. Pricing, of course, is good enough. So
Yeah.
and that's kind of just like anything else. If we wanted to make sure we were getting into a partnership, just not a transaction. So
I love that. And that's exactly what we say. And probably why I ended up signing up with us is that we are looking for partners, even long-term partners to really work with. As you know, like we don't just set it up and forget it. Like we want to do this more and more is we want to, use the data that we're getting. Obviously you're closing deals, but beside that, we're going to send you the data and we want to use that data to help you improve your website and other things that you can do like conversion rate stuff. Your website looks great as it is, but we want to really work with you, and some of it does take work on your end as well. Like if we want you, if we show that conversion rate has dropped significantly for whatever reason, maybe there's more competition, we'll let you know, hey, like here are some things you can do to improve your website. You can add a better about video or something like that, and we expect our clients to work with us with that in some fashion. Like that's how people succeed the most is by having that partnership mindset with an agency
yeah,
versus just like do it for me and it's all your fault either way.
yeah, exactly.
So would you say it was like mainly the price you think? Because we, are cheaper than I think most other like, legit agencies out there for pay per click for our industry. It was you think besides like obviously the referrals, but you think that just the price is what sold you at the end of the day?
I wouldn't say that sold me. I'm blessed enough to not have to choose things based on price
Right.
alone. So it's definitely a factor. Um, but had you been the cheapest and I didn't feel like it was going to be a good fit, I wouldn't have gone with you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you have a good price. Um, but I also think it's a partnership that we will be able to continue and work together. And I think we have similar goals and that sort of thing.
I
So,
love that, man. So let's talk about the campaign. You started in January. You're in the Columbia market. Can you just talk about a little bit about the results that you've seen? And it's been what, maybe 5 months, a little bit less than that right now?
yeah, so we were just going through some of the results, and uh, I'm happy with them. I'm quite happy. I had a guy call trying to sell me on his PPC campaign the other day, and he's like, "Are you happy with your results?" I was like, "Actually, I am." So, and he kept selling, but whatever.
Yeah.
So, we've gotten a handful of tire kickers come through. We've gotten a handful of people click through that are motivated, but they're not in our market or not anywhere that's close enough and not enough deal spread to even work on. So some
Yeah.
of those come through and they're just gone, just like anything else. They're just wasted, if you will. Um, but then we've had a couple, enough come through that we've closed two deals. We had another deal that I should have closed, and just a tip for everyone out there: when it comes through a paid ad, I think you got to jump on it. You got to move quick, even though that person might be trying to slow down or not say they want to move as quick as they really need to, because that third deal, uh, we just kind of let it go, and we were like, all right, we'll call you right back, whatever. And in the meantime, a friend of mine actually got it under contract and then assigned it to one of my partners. So
Oh
it
man.
easily could have been, a deal that we closed and assigned the same day. So that's been fine. And we have another one that we thought we were going to be able to work in, but his equity is a little too low. So he's been referred to a real estate agent. We're not agents. So we'll see how that turns out. If you can't sell it, maybe we'll come back. But in our goal in our original conversation really was if we could get a deal every month um, from PPC, then that's where we like to be, and then we know we can grow it from there. This is like I would say a test, but we
Yeah.
wanted to know what we were doing was going to work and see how it goes. So
Yeah. That's great, man. And we're not quite at a deal a month yet. I mean, it's been 5 months and you've closed 2 deals.
Mhm.
But you could have potentially closed a third one.
Right.
Your buddy bought one, and at the same time, like when the campaigns start, usually the first 2 or 3 months are slow. Like we tell our clients not to really expect a crazy ton right at the beginning. It just
Yeah.
so happens that a lot of our clients do get a deal within the first 30 or 60 days. We don't promise that because campaigns do get slower, but it should get better over time. With coronavirus, we'll see what happens. But um, so I was looking at your campaign, and you spent a little under 4 grand, I think 3,800 with the campaign. Plus obviously our fees with it. But how much did you close in the revenue with those deals?
Yeah. So to back it up a little bit, out of the 5 months, we had a whole month that wasn't even running. So we're really only about four.
True, that's a good point. I
So
forgot about
yeah.
that. Yeah,
So we're really a little bit at four, which uh, all said and done, yeah, we're right where we should be, considering a month of trying to get up and running. So
even better.
um, yeah, so the two that actually closed, one was 6 and one was 8,000. So we're at 14,000 revenue closed.
Awesome. So spent four, and made 14. I mean, I think that's pretty good. That's, over 3 to 1 on your money. It's probably a little under three
Mm-hmm.
to one after you factor in our fees and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's usually what our clients see. They try to get a 3 to 4 to 1 return. And especially in the first few months of your campaign, I mean, that's really good. Like it should only get better from there.
Right.
Right. So I think, you've been crushing it. I think it's a testament to your business. Having someone who used to work at a hotel manage your calls sounds like an amazing idea to me, for sure.
Yeah.
And what you were saying with getting on top of leads right away, it's exactly the other case study that we had with Vance, our other client. He said the same thing, that we need to be on
Yeah.
top of these leads right away because they're hot. They're hot. And if you're not on them right away, you could lose the deal. And we have worked with some people that didn't end up working out. And when we dove into what their acquisition process was, it wasn't great. And I think that's definitely a major factor in your success, not just with PPC, but your other marketing, but more so PPC because the leads are so hot and timely.
Yeah.
For sure.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Awesome, man. Well, that's basically all I had. Is there really anything else that you want to mention, maybe about wholesaling, lifestyle, PPC, anything like that before we wrap it up?
Uh, uh, you know, I can't waste the time to give a plug for the real estate uh, industry, for the business of taking control of your wealth, your assets, your life, and your future. Whether it's while you work your W-2 job, we were doing just fine with the extra money from our rentals, or you decide to jump full steam ahead and live off of this. I don't see a better way, especially now with what just happened, coronavirus. The stock market is up and down, and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
But we can control what we have here. We can control our properties and the income that we get. So, you know, I'll just leave it there for anybody who's watching this. If you're on the sidelines or you're just thinking, I'm not sure, it's time to act. Work on it and um, work with Tim. He's a good guy too.
Progress, not perfection. Either way, PPC or
That's
not,
right.
progress, not perfection. Just what Tom says. Get
Yep.
started in it. Maybe PPC is right for you. Maybe it's not right now. But either way, get in it. You can take control of your life, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So,
You
thanks,
got it.
Andrew. Love it, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for hopping on
Thanks.
the call today.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You too. Bye bye.